Chosen one, stop for a moment, because you are standing before an important warning that can help you protect the good thing you have waited for and nurtured over a long period of time. I am Michael, coming to you not to pressure you through fear, nor to place a cruel clock before you, as though you will be condemned if you are slow. The 10 seconds you hear about are an image of the awakening that needs to begin now. Do not continue delaying what you already know you must face. Do not allow precious days to disappear in distraction, and do not surrender your future to hesitation simply because you were once wounded. Breathe in slowly, quiet your heart, and understand that this urgency has not come to steal your peace, but to lead you back into clarity before an unwise choice carries you farther away from what is right. The fact that you stopped to listen today may not be a meaningless coincidence, because sometimes a necessary reminder appears at the very moment you have become too exhausted to remind yourself. For many hours, your mind may have been pulled in different directions by accumulating work, unresolved conversations, and worries that keep returning in silence. You continued as though everything were fine, but within yourself, you knew that something needed to be acknowledged. I am not saying that an unseen power damaged a message intended for you, but noise, exhaustion, and overlapping thoughts can prevent you from hearing the voice of wisdom. Now that you have slowed down, receive this as an opportunity to correct your direction, not as a test requiring you to prove your faith within a few brief seconds. Something has been trying to take away your peace, concentration, and ability to decide with a clear mind. It may take the form of fear of missing out, dependence upon approval, a relationship that continually makes you doubt yourself, or a habit that causes you to postpone important matters. What is dangerous does not always arrive with great noise. Sometimes it is only a remark that weakens your confidence, a small compromise repeated many times, or a decision you know is unsuitable, but continue accepting because you fear disappointing someone. I enter this moment as a guardian, reminding you that everything connected to your dignity, peace, and good purpose must be protected through boundaries, discipline, and honesty. As you read these words, you may feel some heaviness in your chest, notice a change in your breathing, or experience a sudden pause in your thoughts. Do not immediately interpret every physical response as a mysterious omen. It may simply be your body revealing that you have been under stress for too long. I want you to listen to both your mind and your body with sincere care. If you are exhausted, rest. If you have lived under prolonged anxiety, speak with someone trustworthy. If something makes you feel unsafe, do not remain silent, merely because you are afraid of troubling others. Divine protection does not make you ignore practical forms of help. It leads you toward wise choices, healthy people, and concrete actions that can help you stand more firmly. I know that recently your life has felt like a storm, unable to find its ending. Certain people suddenly changed their behavior, promises became unclear, and plans that seemed secure were repeatedly delayed. Several opportunities came near and then vanished, just as you reached toward them, causing you to wonder whether you had done something wrong. Long nights brought more thoughts than before, and fear sometimes appeared without warning. But, beloved child, not every delay means someone is working against you. Some things stopped because they were not strong enough. Some doors closed so that you would not enter a place that was attractive outwardly but unsafe within. Certain people withdrew because you began establishing boundaries, and they could no longer use your kindness as easily as before. Therefore, do not spend your strength searching for an invisible enemy within every event. Examine what is truly happening. Who regularly makes you feel guilty when you say no? Who remains near you only when they want to receive something? Which opportunity demands that you act hastily, keep secrets, or abandon your principles? What is good will not force you to choose in panic. What is worthy will respect your time to consider, your clear questions, and your freedom. I want you to awaken, not so that you will distrust everyone, but so that you can distinguish legitimate urgency from manipulation, disguised beneath magnificent promises. The blessing prepared for you is not a fragile object that will immediately be handed to someone else. Because you were slow for a few seconds, what truly fits your life will not be built upon the fear of losing your portion. Nevertheless, you must also accept responsibility for the opportunities placed in your hands. If you continually delay, fail to prepare, refuse to answer, or decline to act even when sufficient clarity has been given, an opportunity may pass according to the natural course of life. That is not punishment from heaven. It is a reminder that faith must be accompanied by action. You cannot pray for a new door while tightly embracing everything belonging to the old room. You cannot expect a different harvest while continuing to sow the choices that emptied you. Someone has mentioned your name while you were absent, and you must receive this with awareness rather than fear. They may have been discussing an opportunity, a responsibility, a decision involving you, or a story you need to know. It is also possible that what they said was incomplete, misunderstood, or repeated through several people. Therefore, do not immediately conclude that someone is plotting to take what belongs to you. Seek a clear source, ask direct questions, and verify before reacting. Truth does not need you to create chaos in order to protect it. A calm mind will notice details that anger often overlooks, and one well-timed question may untangle what 100 assumptions would only make more confusing. If someone is truly attempting to take your credit, opportunity, or rightful benefit, protect yourself through specific actions. Preserve information, confirm agreements in writing, speak with someone in authority, and do not sign anything you do not understand. Do not surrender what is rightfully yours, merely because you wish to avoid conflict. But do not allow your desire to win to make you reckless. You have the right to speak without humiliating anyone, to require transparency without seeking revenge, and to leave a place that does not respect your worth. I am beside you in that courage, not by doing everything for you, but by reminding you that your voice deserves to be used with integrity. What you call a miracle, breakthrough, or opening may be approaching in a form much simpler than you expect. It may be a conversation that reveals the truth, an employment opportunity, a change within your family, or a decision that helps you leave an old cycle. Do not overlook something small, simply because you are waiting for a great sign. Many important transitions begin with an email that must be answered, a document that must be completed, a boundary that must be stated clearly, or an apology that must be sent. Heaven may place a path before you, but you must still use your own feet to walk upon it. Prayer does not replace responsibility. It helps you fulfill responsibility with peace and clear purpose. Beloved child, you have passed through too much to continue living as though fear holds your life in its hands. Stop, but do not stop because you have been threatened. Stop so that you may see clearly. Act, but do not act because you fear another person will steal your portion. Act because you understand what is right and must be done. I want you to leave this moment with one specific decision. Finish what you have delayed. Verify the information that has made you uneasy. Protect a legitimate right, or close the access of someone who refuses to respect your boundaries. Do not give authority to a countdown clock. Give authority to the awareness, wisdom, and courage growing within you. I am Michael, standing beside you as a reminder of strength and clarity. I am not saying that you have only 10 seconds left to be loved, because mercy does not abandon you in such a way. I only want you to understand that every day is precious and that certain matters should not be postponed indefinitely. Keep your heart free from bitterness, your eyes free from panic, and your hands ready to do what is right. What is truly intended for you will not require you to sacrifice dignity in order to keep it. What is trying to leave may never have been good enough to accompany you into the new season. What is approaching will be recognized not only through emotion, but through the peace, consistency, and healthy results it produces. From this moment onward, awaken, stand firmly, and choose with wisdom. Because the deepest miracle is not being rescued from every decision, but becoming mature enough to make decisions that no longer betray yourself. Before I help you understand what is opening ahead, remember deeply that you have not been forgotten, handed over to darkness, or required to walk alone through the heavy days behind you. You have been called to pass through a meaningful journey, and your safety does not depend upon panic, haste, or proving anything to anyone. From early morning until nightfall, quiet protection has surrounded your life through people who appeared at the right moment, doors that closed, and decisions that slowed you but kept you from more dangerous roads. I know that life has recently made you weary. I know you have struggled to remain calm, while many things seemed to become difficult at the same time. Therefore, I have not come to blame you for becoming weak. I have come to place peace upon your shoulders and tell you that you have endured long enough. The goodness being prepared for you does not necessarily consist only of one dramatic event that astonishes everyone. The deepest miracle sometimes begins when light returns to eyes that have seen nothing but dead ends for too long, when provision arrives at the right moment, so that you no longer live under constant worry, when healing helps you stop reacting from old wounds, or when new strength awakens your desire to rise and rebuild your life. I know you have prayed for many things, but beneath all those requests is one sincere longing. You want peace. You want to know that you still have a future. And you want to walk forward without continually preparing yourself for another loss. These desires are not insignificant. I see and honor every pure hope you have preserved despite many disappointments. There are times when, immediately before an important change, unstable things seem to rise all at once. This does not mean you are about to be defeated. It means what was concealed is becoming visible so that you can recognize and address it. An unhealthy relationship may become more obvious. A job that has drained you may no longer allow you to pretend that everything is fine. Old fears may return with intensity, not to consume you, but to show you that they no longer have the right to govern your decisions. When darkness appears deeper, do not conclude too quickly that light has departed. Often, that contrast allows you finally to see where change is necessary and what cannot accompany you into the new chapter. I do not want you to believe that one distracted moment will cause every good thing to disappear. Divine love does not operate through threats, and what belongs in your life is not easily taken away merely because you are tired, slow to understand, or need more time. Yet do not use that gentleness as an excuse to continue neglecting yourself. There are moments when you must stop, look honestly at your life, and decide that you will no longer turn away from truth. If you continue postponing boundaries, refusing to correct habits that weaken you, or repeatedly returning to places that wound you, you may delay your own progress. Heaven has not closed the door. You have not yet chosen to walk through it. Therefore, this moment is not an ultimatum. It is an invitation to awaken, reclaim your right to choose, and begin acting according to what you already know is right. Beloved child, you were not created to remain crushed beneath the weight of what happened. You may have fallen, lost your direction, and doubted yourself, but that does not mean your destiny is to remain upon the ground. The difficulties you experienced may become the place where you learned courage, discernment, and compassion, but you do not need to glorify pain or cling to it in order to prove that you are strong. I want you to use what you have learned to leave the old cycle. Receive support when necessary. Rest when you are exhausted. Turn to trustworthy people when your heart becomes too heavy, and take practical steps to restore order in your life. You do not need to reject the opportunity to heal, simply because you have grown accustomed to suffering alone. Clarity is coming first through your refusal to continue believing the lies that damaged the way you see yourself. Someone may have said that you were not good enough, too weak, too slow, or incapable of changing. They may have damaged your reputation, told a distorted story about you, or caused others to question your character. But truth does not lose its worth, merely because it remained covered for a time. You do not need to run everywhere and force everyone to understand you. Live uprightly, correct what is truly your fault, and allow your consistency to bring clarity over time. False words can create temporary darkness, but they cannot determine the future of a person who continues to grow and walk. Honestly, I, Michael, want to speak directly to your weary heart and tell you that the moment of change has drawn nearer than you realize. But do not simply sit and wait for a spectacular sign. Look at what you can do today to cooperate with that goodness. Perhaps you need to complete an application, make a phone call, reorganize your spending, begin a course of study, or leave an agreement that no longer fits. Perhaps the first step is simply to stop contacting someone who continually hurts you and calls it love. A miracle does not always replace responsibility. Often, it gives you strength to fulfill responsibility in a new way. Sudden change may come, but you must also build a foundation stable enough that what is new is not quickly lost. If you wish to say Amen, say it as a free agreement that light will guide your choices. Do not say it because you fear that silence will cause you to lose protection. No word typed beneath a message can purchase safety, and no action can compel heaven to give a blessing. Protection is received as you live attentively, respect healthy warnings, refuse to enter danger merely to prove your faith, and seek help when circumstances exceed your capacity. Let your amen be shown through choosing truth over falsehood, peace over chaos, and self-respect over continuing to beg for acceptance from a place that does not value you. You do not need to subscribe, follow, or remain connected to any content because you fear missing a warning that determines your destiny. What is truly sacred will not imprison you in the anxiety that one missed message will cause danger to fall upon you. You have the right to choose what you receive, test what you hear, and leave any message that makes you dependent, frightened, or unable to reason. Keep the words that help you become clearer, more responsible, kinder, and more stable. Release words that attempt to control you through guilt or exaggerated promises. I do not want you to surrender your freedom to the voice of a stranger. I want you to mature in discernment, so that you recognize what produces peace and what merely exploits your wounds. Heaven does not reclaim control by turning you into a passive person. On the contrary, you are being guided to take responsibility for your own path. Places that were once blocked may begin to open when you speak one honest sentence, accept an ending, learn a new skill, or dare to leave what is familiar. Sometimes rescue comes through an open door. At other times it comes through the courage to close a door you have tried to keep open for too long. Do not search only for mysterious moments while ignoring the wisdom present in ordinary life. Safety may begin through a clear boundary. Provision may begin through a serious plan. Healing may begin through an honest conversation. A fresh future may begin through one small decision, repeated every day. Therefore, beloved child, remember that you are seen, supported, and invited into a life no longer controlled by fear. I am deeply sorry that you had to walk through harsh places, but I do not want you to remain forever in the role of the wounded one. Let the past become a teacher, not a prison guard. Light is not only winning somewhere beyond your sight. It wins each time you refuse to return to what once destroyed you. Each time you speak truth, instead of remaining silent from fear. And each time you take another step without seeing the entire road. Keep this moment as a reminder that you do not need to be pressured in order to be loved, frightened in order to be protected, or deprived of freedom in order to receive guidance. I am beside you, not to control your steps, but to help you walk with the clarity, peace, and courage that have always existed deep within you. Breathe deeply, beloved child, because what is approaching will not only change your circumstances, but also awaken the new person. Heaven has been quietly preparing for a long time. I am Michael, and I want you to understand that a miracle does not consist only of receiving an open door, an answer, an opportunity, or restoration. The deepest part of a miracle is the transformation taking place within you as you pass through that door. Some gifts come to lighten a burden, but others lift you into a new position where you cannot continue thinking, choosing, and living as you once did. Heaven does not place something precious in your hands so that you may return to the cycles that exhausted you. What is coming carries a greater calling. You must become mature enough to preserve what you once prayed to receive. This gift is not being given because you never stumbled, nor because you were always stronger than everyone else. It was prepared because something within you refused to be extinguished, even when every reason for hope appeared to have disappeared. There were days when you had no strength to speak, but in that silence, your heart still turned toward the light. There were nights when you lay down with heavy eyes and did not know how you would rise the next morning. Yet, when morning came, you continued. You did what you could, even if it was only one very small step. You tried once more, believed a little longer, and refused to let disappointment define you completely. People may see only the results, but heaven has seen every quiet battle you had to overcome in order not to abandon yourself. I know there were times when your prayer became nothing more than a tired breath. You no longer had beautiful words, no longer possessed the strength to explain all your pain, and sometimes could only sit still with tears in your eyes. Do not believe those moments had no value. Sincerity is not measured by the number of words spoken. When you continued turning toward God at your weakest, you expressed a faith deeper than emotion. You did not pray because everything was good. You prayed because even when you could not see the road, you still did not want to turn away from the light. That perseverance created a mark no failure can erase. Your name is spoken not as someone who never suffered, but as someone who passed through pain and still remained capable of loving, trusting, and continuing forward. However, you must understand that this miracle carries a choice. It does not only ask what you want to receive, it also asks what you are willing to release in order to enter the new season. The past may try to call you back through familiar things. Someone who once wounded you may return with old promises. A habit that weakened you may become attractive when you feel lonely. An environment that limited you may try to convince you that it is the only place where you belong. But you cannot enter renewal while continuing to hold tightly to what dragged you down. The choice before you is not simply between two circumstances, but between two versions of yourself. The person who always returns because the unknown feels frightening, and the person courageous enough to move forward because they now understand their worth. Beloved child, there is no middle road where you keep every old thing unchanged and still receive the fullness of what is new. Every genuine transition requires separation from certain things that once felt familiar. You may need to stop explaining yourself to people who have decided to misunderstand you. You may need to stop asking permission from others before living according to what you already know. You may need to reorganize your time, finances, relationships, and priorities. A miracle does not replace responsibility. It gives you a new beginning from which to live more responsibly. If you receive a new opportunity while preserving your old way of thinking, you may turn an open door into another narrow room. Therefore, prepare not only your hands to receive, but your heart to change. I am urging you to awaken now, not because I want you to panic that you will lose something within a few minutes, but because delay has repeatedly caused you to return to the very place from which you had just been delivered. You often wait until you feel completely ready before beginning, but readiness does not always come before the first step. Sometimes it is formed while you obey and move forward. A map is useful only when the one holding it agrees to leave the old position. In the same way, a promise cannot take you anywhere if you remain still because you are afraid of making a mistake. Awakening occurs when you understand that what you prayed for must not only be believed, but also answered through action. At times, I have desired that the miracle prepared for you would appear so brightly that everyone would be forced to see it, because I know how deeply misunderstood and underestimated you were during difficult seasons. I wanted those who doubted you to witness your elevation. But God knows what is most suitable for you, and He often brings precious things quietly. Not every restoration needs applause. Not every victory must be announced immediately. Some things must grow in private, so that gossip, competition, or your own impatience does not damage them while they are still young. Therefore, do not become disappointed if the beginning of change appears very small. A phone call, an idea, a meeting, an offer, or a new clarity within your heart may become the beginning of what you have waited for over many years. This miracle may arrive through a door that once disappointed you. But this time you suddenly recognize that it is no longer locked. A place that once remained silent may contact you. Someone who once failed to recognize your worth may begin to change their attitude. A problem you tried to solve in many ways may unexpectedly become simple. Or perhaps what opens is not an external circumstance, but an inward freedom that prevents the old thing from controlling you any longer. Sometimes, the greatest door does not lead you into a new place, but out of the fear that kept you still. When you are no longer obsessed with what everyone thinks, you will see many paths that always existed, but were hidden beneath insecurity. Pay attention to gentle movement. It may appear as a prompting to call someone, complete something you postponed, submit an application, reject an unhealthy invitation, or begin again with a plan you once abandoned. Do not underestimate small steps, because heaven sometimes hides a great turning point within a very ordinary action. Your wisdom lies in recognizing when to act and when to remain quiet. Not everything you receive must immediately be shared with everyone. Some plans must be protected through privacy until they become strong enough to stand beneath the eyes of others. You are not obligated to announce every seed the moment it enters the soil. If this gift arrives quietly, do not doubt it merely because it does not resemble what you imagined. You have become accustomed to believing that great things must arrive through great signs. But God often begins transformation through very small moments. One timely sentence can change a decision. One wise decision can change a year. 1 year lived in order can change the direction of an entire family. A deep miracle does not necessarily remove every difficulty in one night. It may give you the strength, clarity, and opportunity required to build a different life step by step. What you receive today may only be a key, and you must still be courageous enough to place it into the lock and open the door. Therefore, when the way begins to open, enter with gratitude, but do not return to old habits. Do not exhaust what is new, trying to impress others. Do not use restoration as revenge against those who once looked down upon you. Do not turn the gift into proof that you are superior. What is given to you should make your heart more humble, kind, and responsible. When you receive more, you are also called to support more. When you are given a voice, use it to heal rather than humiliate. When you become free, learn to keep the door open for those who are seeking a way out of the place where you were once trapped. I want you to understand that what heaven sees within you is not perfection, but your ability to rise. You fell, but you did not choose to remain there forever. You were wounded, but you did not allow bitterness to become the final voice. You lost your way, but you continued searching for the road home. Therefore, this miracle is not a reward for an old and unchanging version of you. It is a confirmation for the person awakening within you. From today onward, live as someone who understands that the past is a place of learning, not a house to which you must return. Receive what is new with open hands and alert eyes. The door is moving, the call is drawing near, and the whisper you once heard during quiet nights is gradually becoming clearer. I am beside you, leading you not toward one brief and glorious moment, but into a renewed life, where the miracle is not only seen around you, but within the person you have chosen to become.